Hello, I'm Warning Coordination Meteorologist Logan Johnson at the San Francisco Bay Area National Weather Service Office, located in Monterey, California. Today we'll take a look at the most recent updates to the 2012 and 13 winter season forecast. This video was created November 9th, 2012, so please be cautious using the information in this presentation past the end of November 2012, as updated winter season forecasts could revise and change the forecast information that is contained here. Our presentation here will cover four main topics today. We'll start out with a look at the official NOAA winter season outlook, which will show us the expected temperature and precipitation totals for the winter season across the state of California. Earlier forecasts of El Niño for this winter have been revised, and it is not developed as expected, which will lead to what is known as a neutral winter. That's a winter where neither El Niño nor La Niña is going on. We'll take a look at the past years where we've had El Niños and see that even if we'd had one going on this winter, we couldn't necessarily expect that to equal lots of rainfall. And finally, we'll explore how you can find more information on these topics. The Climate Prediction Center issues the official NOAA winter season forecast each fall. Winter season is defined as the months of December, January, and February. Let's take a look at these graphics. We'll start out with a look at our temperature outlook for the country. The colors here indicate what is more likely, a winter season temperature above normal, below normal, or near normal. Much of the west central U.S. features an increased likelihood of warmer than normal winter season temperatures. However, this does not go all the way west into California, and in fact most of the state is under the forecast of equal chances. That will raise the question, what does that mean? Well, we'll take a look at that in just a second. Here's a similar graphic to the temperature one, but this one is for the winter season precipitation totals. The forecast expects an increased likelihood of drier than normal winter precipitation totals across the Pacific Northwest and into our area in northern and central California. It's important to know what this graphic means. This forecast is talking about the rainfall totals for the 3 months of December, January, and February. This doesn't mean that we're going to expect no big rainstorms this winter, and in fact chances are good that we will still have winter storms. It just means that when all is said and done over the winter season, the final rainfall amounts show a greater likelihood of being lower than normal. So what exactly does that equal chances forecast mean? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the forecast deals with three possible categories: above, below, or near normal. The pie graph here shows this winter's expected temperature forecast for the San Francisco area. Notice the probability of the three categories. All of the values are nearly the same, which indicates an equal likelihood of temperatures being above, below, or near normal. The science of long-term forecasts relies on determining signals from the weather patterns and forecast models, and the Climate Prediction Center analyzes dozens of pieces of data when making a forecast. Sometimes, despite all the models and data that exist, there is not a clear signal to make a useful forecast, and in these cases, the equal chance forecast is used. Every year, the science behind our long-term forecast improves, and we become more able to find clear signals in the data that we analyze. Shifting into some of the reasons behind this winter's outlook, we must look at El Niño. This is a widely known and popular term, but what does it mean? Scientists look at a region of the Pacific Ocean along the equator and how the water temperatures in that area are compared to normal. When these temperatures are above normal by ½ degree Celsius for 3 consecutive months, then NOAA declares an El Niño has begun. The opposite of the El Niño is La Niña, which is a cooling of the waters in the same region. The presence of either one of these features has been shown to have some correlation to weather patterns across the United States, especially during the winter seasons. The presence of strong El Niño episodes like the one in 1998 have brought the idea that El Niño always brings abundant rainfall to our area. However, this is not always the case. Looking more closely at this year's ongoing status of El Niño and what we can expect, if you remember the red box on the previous slide showing the area of the ocean where scientists monitor temperatures, well, this graph shows the status of water temperatures in that area over the past year. Blue values are below normal and orange ones are above. We see that last year there was La Niña, and the temperatures have trended towards above normal in the past few months. To be classified as El Niño, we need those orange values to be above the thick black line for 3 consecutive months. This was nearly the case in late summer. But in more recent months, the criteria is not being met. The conditions will not quite meet the threshold for El Niño to develop, so the neutral phase is expected this winter. So to rehash what we just looked at, the ocean temperatures are currently in a neutral status. Conditions are not expected to reach official El Niño status this winter. Earlier expectations were for a weak El Niño to develop this fall, but it's not occurred, and it is not expected to develop at this point. We've already looked at the official winter season forecast, and there's one more piece of data that we can look at. That's the historical data. So let's take a look at what types of conditions the El Niño has brought to the Central Coast in the past. Even while we do not expect El Niño this year, we can still take a look at what types of weather El Niño brings to our area so that we can learn more about this important weather feature. We begin with the data from San Francisco. The normal winter season at San Francisco brings a total of 12.28 inches of precipitation. The graph here shows rainfall amounts for the winter season as based on the El Niño phase that is present. Notice that while moderate and especially strong El Niño conditions have corresponded to wetter than normal winter seasons, the weak El Niño has brought drier than normal winter precipitation. Looking at the data from San Jose, we see a similar trend. The average for the winter season is less overall at San Jose, with 8.7 inches on average. Just like at San Francisco, however, we see that strong El Niño seasons have brought much above normal values of precipitation, while weak years have corresponded to drier than normal amounts of precipitation. Our final site to look at is Santa Cruz. This is a much wetter location on average during the winter seasons than our other two sites, but the trend is the same. Weak El Niño years have corresponded in the past with drier than normal precipitation totals at Santa Cruz. If you'd like additional information, here's a few helpful links. CPC is the official NOAA agency that produces winter outlooks. Their seasonal outlooks are updated during the middle of each month. If you want to monitor the local National Weather Service, our website is a good place to start. And you can follow us on Twitter or become a fan of our Facebook page by searching for the U.S. National Weather Service San Francisco. Our social media outlets will allow you to keep a close relationship to our forecasts and help us to understand your local conditions and how the weather is impacting the people that we serve. Thank you for watching.